Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. Welcome back to the channel here on YouTube.com. This, of course, is the Lightning Flash update for Saturday, May 30th, 2020, as we are rounding out the third month of this coronavirus pandemic. Hopefully, all of you have been maintaining your sanity. I know I say that every time, but regardless, I do genuinely care about each and every single one of you. And speaking of genuine care, I actually do want to take this time to express my genuine care for each and every single one of you who have been supporting me, each and every single one of you who have stuck by me, who have defended me, even when I didn't deserve it, who have always been there to support me, who have always been there to show your admiration and appreciation for me, what I do as far as the DJ Storms brand goes, because we did it. We did it, motherfuckers. One year ago. 1 year ago this month, I hit 1,000. 1 year later, DJ 2K becomes a reality. It's a long time coming, people. It's a long time coming. And just like I said 1 year ago, how do you like me now, you bastards? But ladies and gentlemen, in all seriousness, I said it once and I'm going to say it again. I am a guy, for all intents and purposes, should not even be in the position that I'm in right now. I started this because I was bored on my first ever Twitter account on Periscope, and since then it has just taken off. The DJ Storms brand and the character has just become an entity of its own, and it has become a phenomenon in a sense, a phenomenon that so many people have gravitated towards, so many people have loved, a lot of people have hated, but then again, you won't have love without hate, and you won't have hate without love. It's certainly been a long, twisty road, and trust me, I got plenty left in the tank. I got plenty more content coming throughout the summer, going into the next year. I got plenty of things planned for you guys, and me being just a regular old 21-year-old kid from Jersey, it really does mean a lot that a lot of people would go out of their way to watch me, to support me. I've had some people say that I am the reason why they love discussing wrestling. The entertainment that I bring with the whole character and the gimmick and the little mini-series that I do with my drummer, it's really helped them through this quarantine. And then, of course, I've been called one of the best YouTubers in the YWC. I never in a million years thought that I would ever be considered one of the best to be doing this type of profession, or any profession, to be quite honest with you. So it is really a humbling experience, and it really is something that I hold near and dear to my heart. It really is something that really wasn't meant to be taken all that seriously, and people have taken it seriously. I've taken it seriously mainly because of how much appreciation I had for the people supporting me and how much passion that I had for this entire brand as a whole. So I really do appreciate each and every single one of you, and sometimes I'm not good with the words, but it really does mean a lot. And I actually have a lot of people I do want to thank. I actually wrote a list of people that I want to thank. First and foremost, I want to thank JV Thunder. There is no DJ Storms without JV Thunder. He has been the one guy that has been with me since day one, doing this with me since day one. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten sick of it and he hasn't asked to leave. The Quarantine with Thunder series, we've been having a blast doing it. It's actually his birthday coming up on June 11th. He's going to be 50. Big early happy birthday to him. He means the absolute world to me. I love the guy. I would not be who I am without JV Thunder. Thank you to him for putting up with all my bullshit. Thank you for him for putting up with all the chaos, all the anarchy, all the shenanigans. Literally putting a mask on every single day that we record, playing the drums in a mask, mowing the lawn in a frickin' land mask. You know, he deserves the most appreciation out of anyone. Happy early birthday to him. I'll be going on vacation next week, actually. I won't be doing a Lightning Flash update next week. I actually do need a break from this. He needs a break from it as well, so we're actually going to take a break from the Quarantine with Thunder series. I know that a lot of people have been enjoying it, but he needs a break because he's got his own job to focus on. I got my own things outside of YouTube to focus on. I have to beef up that LinkedIn profile, as I said. I got to focus on my online class coming up on the 23rd. We'll probably pick it up sometime in July, but right now he just needs a break from it. He needs a break, and he needs to relax and recuperate. But I do want to thank him Again, there would be no DJ Storms without JV Thunder. He's the most vital part to the DJ Storms brand. He's the most vital part to this entertainment brand. Gunner Trash, I got to thank Gunner Trash. I know he's been one of my biggest supporters. He's the North American champion over at WrestleMania, which I commentated for back in October. He is undoubtedly someone that I never even expected to be friends with. I greatly appreciate everything that he has done for me. It really does mean the world to me. Best regards to him, his wife, and his kid. I hope that they've been staying safe. I hope if you're watching, Gunner, I can't wait to get back at WrestleMania. I can't wait to call your match. I can't wait to do another interview with you again. It really does mean a lot. Crowbar as well. I got to thank Crowbar. He did an interview with me. He did an interview with me back in August of 2018 leading up to SummerSlam. Undoubtedly one of the most informative guys that you will ever meet. I owe him the world, and I owe him all the admiration in the world for being a huge supporter of me and giving me the opportunity to commentate at his wrestling show. That means so much more than he could ever imagine. Brittany K, I love you, Brittany. She's from Pennsylvania. I know that she's watching. She's actually one of my newest supporters. She's one of my newest friends. She has told me that I have been the one person that has given her confidence again, that has made her realize her worth. That's really all I could ever ask for someone. If I could bring someone out of their shell and make someone realize how much they are worth, it really does mean a lot to me. It really does warm my heart. So I love you, Brittany. I know you're watching. My friend Amanda at Little Ginge, Little Giinge. I know she's been suffering through some depression and anxiety herself. Thoughts and prayers go out to you. Trust me, this is only temporary. You got to keep positive vibes up. You got to keep your faith. You got to keep the faith up. You got to keep your head up. Trust me, you're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Once this all passes, everything's gonna go back to normal. If you need anyone to talk to, obviously you got my number. You know what to do. Nathan Best, my brother from the UK. He's been with me since the days on Periscope at Dozer Section on Twitter. I can't thank him enough for supporting me. It really does mean a lot. I know he suffers with depression as well. Thoughts and prayers go out to you. If you ever need me, you can Skype me anytime. Ethan Craddock, I sent him a DJ Storms wristband, my emo brother from Kansas. At Blue Riot, a.k.a. Colton, my partner in crime on Blue Riot Podcast. The guy who has been there to defend me at every single twist and turn over the course of the last 4 months, man. I have had a blast doing Blue Riot Podcast. Can't wait to do Blue Riot Podcast again with you. My friend Alan, a.k.a. Axeman987, that phone call on Revolution Day, man, that is the one thing that I will always look back on when we talk about our friendship. That's some of the things that I will always look back to, because stuff like that is going to last a lifetime. And we actually talked for about 45 minutes throughout the Kenny Omega Hangman Page Young Bucks tag team match. So we actually had a lot to talk about in that match. Thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family. I hope you're doing all right. Christina, a.k.a. at girl_Chris29. She's also been one of my day one A1s. Shout out to her. Hope she's doing great. Thank you for always liking my tweets, retweeting my tweets, and supporting the DJ Storms brand. Joseph Conlon of Big Fight Feel. I met him at Extreme Rules of 2019, almost a year ago. Him and me, we've done a lot of collaborations. The guy is an absolute beast. He's on the road to 100 subscribers. Please go check him out. Earl Cole, my brother from Brooklyn. He has been one of my biggest supporters, undoubtedly one of the biggest advocates, my top three, perhaps, my top three. Earl Cole, him and I will be doing the rundown for NXT TakeOver in Your House next Thursday, and that's actually going to be my only video for next week. As I said, I will not be doing an LFU because I'll be on vacation. Wrestling with Heat Podcast, big shout out to Wrestling with Heat Podcast. He's a great guy. I am very thankful to have met him. Thank you for supporting my channel. I will always support your channel. Jay Aletto, my fellow New Jerseyan. Him and me will be doing the rundown for Backlash. That's going to be coming in 2 weeks. JoJo Donahoe. She's from California. I know that she has had a migraine to deal with for over 2 weeks now. She's actually going through treatment right now. Thoughts and prayers go out to her. Maria Rose, she's also from New Jersey. Her and I, we've known each other for over a year now. She actually has a new podcast coming out called 3 Count Life. She has been one of the most compassionate people that I have met. She's never judged me. She has never based her judgment off of the DJ Storms character, and she's gotten to know the man behind the character. I consider her one of my greatest friends. I can't wait for her and I to actually meet once this pandemic is over. I know we've said that a lot, but I promise you, we'll get around to it. We'll get around to it. So if you're watching, Maria, shout out to you. Best of luck to you with your new podcast. Bless your heart, and stay safe, as always. My girl Bree from Colorado, at @BreenUpButter_. Her and I, we've had some great Skype sessions. We have literally laughed like children over the dumbest shit that you could ever imagine. I can't thank her enough for supporting me. Eddie King, got to shout him out. Bobby Mundo, TM161, Matt Moody, Wesley Landon Woosley, who is operating a YouTube channel of his own. He's on the road to 200 subscribers. Go check him out. Wesley Williams, at @big_West18. Michelle, another New Jersey girl. She is at @fabulousboss_ on Twitter. She has never judged me for the DJ Storms character. We have a lot of conflicting stances on professional wrestling. We have a lot of conflicting beliefs, but she is an absolute sweetheart. She is an absolute angel. I owe her the world. She has given me a safe haven. I have been able to talk to her, and I've been able to show my human side to her, and she's never judged me. I greatly appreciate you. You mean the world to me. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't ever change. Addie from California, at Addie Gypsy Soul. She's actually going for a degree in criminology. She is an incredibly intelligent girl. She's really going places. You're going to be something, Addie. Don't ever stop doing what you're doing. You're really going to be something. Keep it up. Nathan Heinz, we did a Storm stream not that long ago. It's your boy Leo. He's been doing a lot of wrestling content, video game content, actually. He's been a big supporter of DJ Storm's brand. Please go check him out. He's actually on the road to 1,600. J Diamond TV, he's hilarious. Go check him out. Dio Patterson. Tracy, at Smiley Baby Boo. We've had a lot of conflicting opinions, and trust me, I know that she don't like the DJ Storm's character, but she's a sweetheart. She's an absolute sweetheart. She is a gem. She is a gem in this world. Please go show her some love. She deserves all the love, admiration, and appreciation that this world has to offer. We actually did a Lightning Flash update a couple months ago. Thank you again for collaborating with me. I can't wait to be on your podcast one day. Best of luck with your podcast as well. My man, Michael Compolo from college. Big shout out to him. James Harmon, a.k.a. Big Boy Johnny. He's on the road to 3,000. My girl, Cara from the UK. She's been suffering with a lot of depression as well. My thoughts and prayers go out to her. Please hang in there, Cara. You're loved. I love you. Keep on doing what you're doing. I love your blue hair, by the way. Captain Dino, a.k.a. Gabby Rodriguez. She's awesome. I actually got some people from Australia, the land down under. Sarah Ingleton, you absolute angel. Amber Rose, you are absolutely amazing. I love you. Bitter End Wrestling, he's got a channel of his own. And Ryan Rogers, all of my Aussie supporters. Big shout out to you. Danielle Wolf, Armbar Audio, Tim Farley and John Kearns. I've known them since 2018, as well as Sid the Nerdy Mark. They are both on the road to 300 subscribers, and they also got their own podcast called The Armbar Nerds. Please go show them some love. They're great. I can't wait to collaborate with them again. They are fantastic, very underrated. We got the Triple Threat Review. We got at Ant Won't Stop, who does original raps for pay-per-views. We got Nick Man, at Too Good Right Now. Versac Stoner Wrestling, Jesse Kalin, Peter, the Keyboard Warrior, IRL. You can find him on Twitter, at IRL Warrior. He's from California. He's got a wife. He's got a kid. They're actually big fans of me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being such a big advocate for the DJ Storms brand. I collaborated with you a few times. Can't wait to do it again. I hope that you and your family have been staying safe. I can't wait to commentate for the upcoming wrestling event that you're organizing. I will be flying out to California. Trust me, you're going to get the best commentary from the best in the game. Daniel from Neutral Wrestling, shout out to him. Hannah Rees, Keenan Fisher, Jenna Lee. Big shout out to you. I love you, Jenna. Ashley Sweetley, the Maniacal JC, the Comic Book Bombshell, Melissa Klenn, Sebastian Cage, Turnbuckle Chick, and last but not least, Travis, a.k.a. Habiki, TMD. That 2-hour phone call that we had a few weeks ago. Again, like I said, stuff like that is really going to stick for a lifetime, man. You have no idea. Even you, I gotta thank. You subscribe to my channel, I subscribe to you. Congrats on peaking 1K, by the way. Keep on doing what you're doing. You're definitely going to be something. I greatly appreciate the support that you've been giving me. I greatly appreciate the fact that I've been able to make you laugh, especially with that We Will Rock You cover. Trust me, I know. I know you fucking love it, dude. With that being said, before we get into the festivities here, because we got a loaded show, please follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. Follow me on Instagram and Periscope at the DJ Storms. Add me on Facebook as well. All the links are in the description. For collaborations and business inquiries, send me an email, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, that is. Please, if you haven't already done so, check out the rewind for AEW Double or Nothing 2 and Quarantine with Thunder episode number 9. Links are in the description. Please go check them out. Hit that like button. Try and get this video to 25 thumbs up as per usual. And of course, please comment down below what were your thoughts on the weekly show reviews and what were your thoughts on the news, rumors, and reports for this week's Lightning Flash update. Hit that subscribe button. DJ 2K is a reality, but we're still going, people. Come on, hit that subscribe button and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Blue Riot Podcast, of course. Shout out to the Blue Riot. Go follow the Blue Riot on Twitter at Blue Riot with 2 T's. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Blue Riot Pod. And, of course, go and listen to the podcast on all platforms where you find your local podcast, whether that be on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Anchor. Him and me, we did AEW Darkhamite episode number 8 of the Blue Riot Storms review. That's currently up on all local podcast platforms. Please go check that out. If I missed anyone in my thank you speech, please let me know, and I'll be sure to shout you out on Twitter. But nevertheless, why don't we get right into the weekly show reviews? We have a lot to talk about this week for professional wrestling. It was loaded this week for professional wrestling. Monday Night Raw and SmackDown finally introduced a live audience. The PC trainees, even though it feels forced as shit, still something. But we actually got a fairly decent show. It wasn't overly special. It's not something that you're going to go back and rewatch, but it was decent for what it was. We did get some decent wrestling. KO show kicked off with KO. He introduced Asuka. They ran back what happened with Nia Jax last week until Charlotte interrupted. Says that Asuka never beat her, blah, blah, blah. Natalya came out to apologize to KO. Nia came out. Nia said that she's going to blow through Asuka. Brawl broke out, and Asuka stood tall, and that was pretty much it. I don't understand why we needed to even have this segment. To be quite honest with you, it was a complete waste of time. I would have much rather have them started off with the U.S. title match, and you could have given more time to Austin Theory and Murphy versus Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo later on in the show. That match went about like 4 to 5 minutes. But speaking of the United States Championship match, we had Andrade versus Apollo Crews. This was actually very good. This was undoubtedly the best thing on the show. We had Andrade with the swift back elbow for a 2 count. We had Apollo with an enziguri, sending Andrade into Vega going into commercial until Andrade took over control, sending Crews into the barricade. Crews came back with a big stinger splash. Andrade with the double stomp for a 2. Apollo with a big belly-to-belly overhead throw to Andrade into the corner. Andrade with a double knees for a 2. And then we had this beautiful combination that I love from Apollo Crews, the military press. Military press, moonsault, shooting star press combination for the win. I absolutely love the fluidity that Apollo Crews executes the military press, moonsault, shooting star press combo with. He just does it so beautifully. That's something that really makes me a big advocate for Apollo Crews. The fluidity in the ring, the slickness in the ring, really makes me gravitate towards Apollo Crews. And Apollo Crews wins the United States Championship. Better 4 years. Better 4 years late than never. Long time coming. Apollo talked about the 11 years of sacrifice, talked about how those said that he blew his chance and he was never getting another one. But he kept on fighting, and now he can proudly say he is the new United States Champion. And you can really tell that Apollo Crews has been waiting a long time for this moment. You can't help but be happy for Apollo Crews. Now, I can only hope that he's booked better than Andrade. Do I have any faith that he will be? Absolutely not. Now, Andrade, it's not his fault that his U.S. title reign was lackluster. Part of it was his fault, actually. Part of it was the fact that he got suspended. The other part was that he got injured, and then WWE proceeded to job him out every single week to Drew McIntyre. But they're actually starting out on a fairly decent note, because now we got a U.S. Open Challenge next week with Apollo, and it's going to be against an opponent of his choosing. So if that's what we're going to get, and Apollo Crews is going to be a fighting champion, he's going to put on good matches every single week for the United States Championship, then you know what? I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Sign me up. If this is what we're going to get with Apollo Crews going into the summer, sign me up. I got nothing to complain about right there, but do I have any faith that WWE is going to do that? Absolutely not. So Seth Rollins was interviewed, and he says that he's better than he's ever been because of Rey Mysterio. He says that he couldn't imagine what it was like for Rey's family to not support him. He says that Rey's actions have allowed them to look into the future. Brought in Theory and Murphy, who look great, by the way. He says that Theory and Murphy know what it's like to be underappreciated. He says that later they'll show Carrillo and Black what happens when you stand in the way of the Monday Night Messiah. I'd like to have faith, no pun intended there, towards the Messiah, that they're going to be booked as a decent stable. I can definitely see Murphy and Theory in the tag team title hunt, but at the end of the day, right now, based on WWE's track record, and that's what it always goes back to, WWE's track record, I can't get behind it. I can't get behind it. I mean, they did start off fairly decent on Raw, and we'll talk about that later on, but we'll see what happens. So the Iconics come out, and this is where the show really started to dip. Peyton Royce apologized to Billy. Billy apologized to Peyton. Talked about their WrestleMania win before. Bliss and Cross came out. I swear to God, the Iconics make me want to get my ears surgically removed. I don't know how anyone can find enjoyment in this. This is the furthest thing from entertaining. If you do, there's something mentally fucking wrong with you, and you need to put yourself down for immediate brain surgery because you're dangerously fucking stupid. So Nikki Cross actually ranted to the Iconics about leaving Scotland and Bliss having her back. She said that they're proud to be called the Women's Tag Team Champions, and she could not name anything more iconic than that before a brawl broke out, and the Iconics delivered their reverse magic killer and stood tall. Nikki Cross, now I will say that the promo was actually delivered very, very nicely. Probably the best promo that she's cut on the main roster, but at the end of the day, this partnership with Alexa Bliss is undoubtedly hampering down the women's division. You have Nikki Cross, who's actually a very good wrestler. You took away the psychotic Scottish woman gimmick and made her Alexa Bliss's lackey. And the fact that I have to stand here or sit here rather, in this worn-out wooden chair and see Nikki Cross stand next to a piss-poor excuse for a women's wrestler like Alexa Bliss, it literally makes me sick to my stomach. Now, the Iconics, what do you want me to say about the Iconics? I mean, the Iconics suck. The Iconics are AIDS. The Iconics are absolute AIDS. I mean, like, put it this way. At least they're nice people. At least they're nice people. At least I'll give them that. I've heard from their fans that they're very nice. So, props to Shawn Spears for putting a ring on a sweetheart like Peyton Royce. Now, I only wish that they would apply their skills in real life. I can only hope that one day they'll be as good of a wrestler. They'll be as good of wrestlers as they are human beings. A guy can dream. Now we're going to have to sit through the Iconics and Bliss and Cross at Backlash. But then again, every pay-per-view needs a bathroom break. But Backlash is looking like a 3-fucking-hour bathroom break. MVP's VIP lounge with Drew McIntyre. So he introduced Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came out, took out the couches. MVP promised that Bobby Lashley was not out there to put the full Nelson on Drew McIntyre till Backlash. Drew McIntyre says that he doesn't need anyone thinking for him, talking for him, or kissing his ass. MVP then introduced Bobby Lashley. He turned around into a Claymore. Drew dared Bobby Lashley to get into the ring, and then Lashley left with MVP. another complete waste of a segment in which I am not going to in depth about. Kevin Owens versus Angel Garza. This was actually surprising in a good way. Now, it was a decent match. It didn't really go that long. It was a decent match for what it was. But Angel Garza actually got the win over here. So, Angel Garza then slid, like Naomi, he slid down the ramp and chop blocked Owens. So the target of Angel Garza was Owens' left knee. Owens came off the top with a senton bomb. Owens was not able to fight back for much longer because Owens was caught in the wing clipper, and Angel Garza gets the win. This was very shocking, but I am not complaining whatsoever. Matter of fact, Angel Garza is definitely someone I can see taking the United States Championship off of Apollo Crews, possibly either at SummerSlam or possibly a Clash of Champions in September. I don't necessarily know, but Angel Garza definitely is in top contention of being the next United States champion. He's got money written all over him, and if they want to, after the United States Championship reign for Angel Garza, they could definitely push him to a World Championship reign. Angel Garza has got all the potential in the world. He is the next Eddie Guerrero. I've literally seen person after person across Twitter say Angel Garza is the next Eddie Guerrero. Second coming of Eddie Guerrero. Angel Garza gets the win. I'm not complaining whatsoever. I literally wrote down, I did not care about the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders in a game of golf. I'm only going to say one thing about this. If this is what we are going to get, if this is what we are going to get with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders going forward, I would rather have them completely abolish the entire Raw Tag Team division rather than have to sit through anything related to tag team wrestling on Monday Night Raw ever again. I do not give a shit. This was fucking embarrassing. I really don't care. Murphy and Austin Theory versus Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black. Now, I pretty much expected this to go the exact way that it went. Humberto with a huge crossbody, taking out both men on the outside. We had Humberto making the hot tag. Black with the Shining Wizard and a moonsault to Theory. Black was taken out. Murphy was taken out with an enziguri. We had the ATL, and Theory and Murphy get the win. Humberto continues to lose, and Aleister Black was not pinned. Afterwards, they targeted Humberto, and Rollins told Black to put the chair down that he brought into the ring. That was it. They let Humberto go. Next week, we have Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins set, which I don't even know why it's even taking place. My guess is mainly because of the fact that they want to do Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins at Backlash rather than Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins. Although it does fit into the story. At the end of the day, Aleister Black is your next WWE champion at SummerSlam, and I would have rather see him get the win over Seth Rollins and see him continue his momentum going into SummerSlam, resulting in an eventual win for him against Drew McIntyre. See what happens there. So Edge cut another great promo. I'm not really going to go in depth too much about what happened there. The only thing I'm going to say about that is the fact that the cheesy tagline of the greatest wrestling match ever, combined with the fact that their first match at WrestleMania was a complete disappointment. You know, I would be more excited for the matchup at Backlash if it hadn't been for those two factors. They're literally plunging greatest wrestling match ever down our throats, just like they do for every other pay-per-view. There's always some cheesy-ass fucking tagline that they have to say every single fucking second of the show. With this show, it's going to be greatest wrestling match ever. And then the first match was disappointing. Literally. Match went 40 minutes, and 75% of that match was just them throwing each other into the walls of the different rooms that they were in. So I don't really necessarily know what you want me to say. I don't really know how I can get excited about that. Nia Jax versus Natalya versus Charlotte Flair, number one contenders match. I don't even know why any of these women are even getting a number one contenders opportunity. Charlotte Flair being on 3 shows now is absolutely giving me an aneurysm, on the verge, at least, of giving me an aneurysm. Natalya's lost twice to Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax, she lost that Money in the Bank, and all of a sudden she could just come out and say, hey, I'm going to challenge for the Raw Women's Championship. My girl Michelle wants to make me into a Nia Jax stand. Yeah, never gonna fucking happen. Never gonna fucking happen. I'm not saying this match was bad. The wrestling was decent. I'm not gonna bullshit you. We had some decent wrestling in this match. But Nia Jax winning... Nia Jax is in a Raw Women's title match at Backlash. God fucking help us all. Decent triple threat match. I'm not gonna lie. It was a decent triple threat match. But Nia Jax winning? Yeah, it made sense because Natalya lost and Charlotte shouldn't even be there. But at the end of the day, Nia Jax in a title match. God fucking help us all. We had Rob Gronkowski and R-Truth Cup. I'm not even gonna go over that shit. Liv Morgan was interviewed again. She talked about never feeling good enough, and now she finally feels like she's good enough because she made it in WWE after she was floating around. She said she's going to be who she is because she is destined to be, and she's living her best life. I'd like to have hope that these promos and possible matches for Liv Morgan are going to result in something bigger. I'd like to hope that they're going to result in possibly a Raw Women's title reign, a Raw Women's title opportunity at the least. But again, it all goes back to the track record. I just don't trust WWE to do so. I mean, I'd like to hope that they are building Liv Morgan up for something big. We'll see what happens. Next week, we also got Rey Mysterio's retirement ceremony. So we had the Street Profits versus MVP and Bobby Lashley. I didn't give a shit about this match whatsoever. I took my notes, but I did not give a shit about this match. Lashley was toying with Montez Ford. He actually sent him into the barricade and the post. Montez Ford was selling his ass off here. Dawkins got the hot tag. Big Stinger splashing a Bulldog. We had the cash out, but Bobby Lashley locked in the full Nelson. He got himself DQ'd, and Drew McIntyre made his way down to the ring, and a big brawl broke out. Drew McIntyre was pulled back by PC trainees before Lashley hit the spear, and more trainees got involved to separate the two men to end the show. This wasn't necessarily a bad brawl, but it would have had a lot more meaning, and it would have been a lot more epic if they haven't portrayed Bobby Lashley like the biggest waste of a paycheck for the last 2+ years. Literally, this guy was in a feud with Sami Zayn going into Money in the Bank, literally a month after he came back, with 3 men dressing up like his sisters in drag. Then we had Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in a partnership, which went nowhere. Lio Rush was always the star of that partnership. Then Bobby Lashley went away, came back, and was involved in a cuckold storyline with Liv Morgan, Rusev, and Lana. Married Lana in one of the worst segments in Monday Night Raw history. No, it was not entertaining whatsoever. Get your head out of your fucking ass. He beats R-Truth twice after losing to Aleister Black at WrestleMania, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to take him seriously as a legitimate contender for the WWE Championship of all titles. Of all titles, the WWE Championship. We're supposed to take him seriously. Again, I'd like to have hope that Drew McIntyre is going to bring Bobby Lashley to a decent match, and more likely than not, that's what would happen, but we shouldn't have it in our mind that Bobby Lashley is a shit challenger. You should have a strong challenger and a strong champion with a good story going into the next pay-per-view. We shouldn't have to sit here and merely hope for something decent. We should be expecting something decent. Just go show you that WWE doesn't give a shit. Not a bad show whatsoever, and not a bad brawl, but again, Lashley is a waste. Lashley's a complete waste. There's literally nothing of value that Lashley has done outside of his match with Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. That's at least what I can think of. I mean, he's not a bad wrestler, he's just fucking boring. AEW Dark. This is a fucking loaded episode here. We had 10 matches on AEW Dark. I'm actually going to try and skim through these to the best of my ability. There's really nothing too crazy to talk about. John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order versus the Natural Nightmares. The Natural Nightmares actually won with the Canadian Destroyer and the QT Cutter. Ali actually came out with QT's Apple. So I'm not sure if they're building a storyline between the Butcher and the Blade and the Natural Nightmares. Natural Nightmares are definitely a team that I can see getting a nice little underdog build towards a potential title opportunity, a potential title reign. I don't necessarily know. But right now, I do think that Dustin Rhodes is going into a feud with Lance Archer at Fyter Fest, and that's going to be a nice rebound win for Lance Archer after his loss to Cody in the TNT Championship Tournament Finals. Michael Nakazawa versus Brandon Cutler. This is actually a lot better than I expected. This is a lot better than I expected. I did not think that this was going to be as good as it was, but this actually turned out to be a fairly decent match. We had Cutler with a springboard forearm for a 2. Nakazawa with a spear. Cutler was actually busted open right here, I believe. We had a big diving senton for a 2. Cutler with a body slam on the ramp, springboard elbow to the back of Nakazawa. Nakazawa was able to slide back in the ring after sending Cutler into the barricade, and Nakazawa wins via countout. And Cutler lost due to his frustrations. I actually thought that Cutler was going to get the win here. This is probably the best Michael Nakazawa match that I've seen. And then afterwards, Peter Avalon came out. They started getting into a war of words of who's going to get a win first here in AEW. Obviously, that storyline's been going on being the Elite. Now, the premise of the storyline is fucking dumb. It's fucking stupid. But Cutler and Avalon are actually two fairly decent wrestlers that will give you a fairly decent match when given the proper amount of time. This is definitely a match that I can see happening at Fyter Fest, possibly on the buy-in pre-show. Afterwards, we had Peter Avalon versus Jungle Boy. Another decent match. None you're going to go back and rewatch. We had Luchasaurus putting Leva Bates on his shoulders. Marco Stunt actually got his first kiss, according to Brandon Cutler. Now, good job there, Marco. Now, Leva Bates. She's not that good of a wrestler, but I can get behind some Leva Bates. Jungle Boy ended up winning with the STF or SGF, a modified STF, for the win. Nice rebound win off of his loss at Double or Nothing, heading into the Battle Royal for the TNT Championship title opportunity the next night. Serpentico versus Christopher Daniels, another academic match. Daniels wins with the chokeslam and the best moonsault ever. Where does SCU go from here? I don't know. John Skyler and Brady Pierce versus Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. I cannot fucking stand Sonny Kiss, but this is probably the best role that they're going to have for him. His flamboyancy and his charisma legitimately makes me want to punch him in the face. It's not like Velveteen Dream, where Velveteen Dream's charisma and flamboyancy, that's cool. Sonny Kiss's flamboyancy and charisma is fucking annoying. Now, he's athletically gifted, but his selling sucks and his offense is terrible. But pairing him with someone of value like Janela, that could actually bring something decent out of him. I can see Janela going somewhere as a singles guy. I can't see Sonny Kiss going anywhere as a singles guy. But Janela and Kiss won. Kiss with the plancha to the outside and an elbow drop by Janela for the win. Janela and Kiss win. Tony Donati versus and Fabu Andre. Tony Donati and Fabu Andre versus Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian. Havoc isolated Andre. We had Tony with a hammerlock suplex for a 2 on Kip Sabian. Rolling Death Valley Driver and double stomp. We had a dropkick Meishinuku Driver combination, and Havoc and Sabian win ahead of their tag team match with SCU on Dynamite. Mr. Grimm versus Wardlow. Wardlow here dominated Grimm. We had Wardlow winning by knockout by letting Grimm fall into his knee, and then afterwards he delivered the F10. Wardlow versus Luchasaurus is definitely something I can see happening at Fyter Fest. They did book that for the March 25th episode, but that did not come to fruition because of the fact that it was a lumberjack match and they had to follow the strict social distancing rules. We had Lee Johnson and Colt Cabana. Academic again. Nothing crazy. You're not going to go back and rewatch it. Colt Cabana wins with the reverse Boston Crab. Kylie King versus Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford wins with the lethal injection. I can definitely see Penelope Ford as an interim opponent for Hikaru Shida and the AEW Women's World Championship, possibly in July or in August before All Out. And then Shawn Dean and Alan Angels they were defeated by the Best Friends with the Strong Zero. Best Friends continue to get to continue to gain momentum going into their eventual tag team title match at Fyter Fest. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno are nowhere to be found. Dark Order are nowhere to be found, and if that's the case, then I can definitely see the Best Friends taking the titles off of Kenny and Hangman, leading to the eventual turn for Hangman and the match at All Out between Kenny and Hangman. I'm starting to believe that the Best Friends could very well become the new tag team champions. AEW Dynamite. I would say that this was a very good show outside of the Battle Royal, which I didn't really care for. Everything flowed very, very nicely. Everything was very entertaining outside of that Battle Royal, which realistically I don't think anyone cared about outside of the winner. We'll go over it. We had Joey Janela and Private Party versus Matt Hardy and the Young Bucks. Great to see the Young Bucks back on Dynamite. I absolutely love the Young Bucks. We had Janela with a suicide dive and a Death Valley driver on the floor to Matt Jackson. Nick Jackson actually kicked the Blade, and the Blade and the Butcher actually got into it with the Young Bucks on the outside. We had a big Canadian Destroyer to Isaiah Cassidy. Cassidy sold it beautifully. Matt Hardy got the hot tag, big side effect for a 2. Matt Hardy lined up all 3 men and delivered a moonsault onto all 3 men for a kick out. Double super kick to Janela while he was hung up in the ropes. Double topes by Private Party, but Mark Quinn injured his knee. The Bucks hit more bang for your buck for the win. Very fun 6-man tag. Afterwards, Hardy helped Quinn to the back, and the Butcher and the Blade attacked the Bucks, getting some revenge after Nick Jackson accidentally super kicked the Blade. And then after all of this, out of nowhere, we seen this big truck pull up. And out of nowhere, FTR, yes, Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler, the Revolt, or whatever the hell you want to call them, FTR, the Revolt, I believe they're going by FTR. They come in, and they grab the Young Bucks. They look like they're going to take out the Young Bucks, but they go for the Butcher and the Blade. They go for the Butcher and the Blade, hit the pile driver and a Shatter Machine, and they shake hands with the Young Bucks. Very, very interesting. Very intriguing. My guess is the reason why they're doing this is because they're building the initial quote-unquote feud between FTR and the Young Bucks on respect. It's easy to have FTR come in and attack the Bucks, and right then and there you have a legitimate reason. It's stereotypical. But a match like that could realistically sell itself. You could literally put FTR versus the Young Bucks on any show on the wrestling calendar, and it will sell itself. People know the history. People know the story. People know what's been going on Being the Elite. People know the teases. People know everything that's been going on between FTR and the Young Bucks. So, realistically, a match like that could sell itself. We could possibly get a 30-minute Iron Man match at All Out. And we could definitely see a match built on respect. Who is the best tag team in the world? And then later on, possibly in the new year, once we get crowds back, then we could possibly see a feud built on something bigger. We could actually see some tensions being built between the two. And this could possibly result in a World Tag Team title match in the main event of a pay-per-view. Because you know for a fact that one day, someday in the future, we're going to see the Revolt and the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles main event the show. You know for a fact it's going to happen. But right now, I don't mind this. I actually think that we're going to see the Butcher and the Blade versus the Revival, or the Revolt, or FTR at Fyter Fest in their debut. And we could very well see the Young Bucks and FTR in a match built on respect, initially, at All Out. I don't mind this whatsoever. This is actually a very interesting approach. It's something new. It's something innovative. It's not stereotypical. It'll make you wait. I don't mind it. So Jon Moxley, he was on commentary to watch Brian Cage's debut. Brian Cage is fucking fluid. And I mean, he's fluid for a guy his size. We had big Enziguri German suplex combination, buckle bomb, and a drill claw for the win. Taz took the mic, and he said that he respects Mox. He respects the grit, the heart, and the passion, and he wants Mox to bring that grit and heart when he faces Brian Cage at Fyter Fest. Taz says, beat him if you can, survive if he lets you. Taz is such a great mouthpiece for Brian Cage. You don't need any fancy or flashy phrases to sell a guy like Brian Cage. A guy like Brian Cage sells himself. Great stuff right there. And you know something? I actually don't mind Brian Cage getting this opportunity because realistically speaking, they're mainly doing this as a test run, similar to what they did with Brody Lee at Double or Nothing 2. And they want to see if Brian Cage can hang with a guy like Jon Moxley in the main event for a world championship. Brody Lee passed his test with flying colors, and you know something? I'm extremely excited to see what Brian Cage can do. I'm extremely excited to see this match at Fyter Fest. This is going to be good. Britt Baker, she talked with Tony Schiavone about the rules of being a role model. Rule number 3 is don't hurt the role model. She calls out all of the women. Chris Statlander for being an alien. She called that a crock of shit. Said that Shida is a fraudulent champion. And she said that Nyla is a conspirator because she gracefully guides off the top rope for a flying knee drop so she couldn't have guided herself away from Britt's fragile leg. Then she called out Aubrey Edwards. Great stuff right there. Britt Baker, undoubtedly the best heel character in the women's division. And I'm glad that she is not out entirely. She said she's going to be back at All Out, but I'm going to take that with a grain of salt because the doctor said 6 weeks. So she'll probably be back by the end of July, maybe the beginning of August. If she is back at All Out, I wouldn't mind that. But if she is back at All Out, then more likely than not, she's not challenging for the AEW Women's World Championship. We'll have to wait and see. Because, realistically, there's no bigger match at All Out than the best heel character in Britt Baker versus the best babyface in Hikaru Shida. But if that's the case, and we are not going to get Britt Baker in a Women's World title match, I could definitely see Big Swole facing off against Hikaru Shida at All Out. She's actually facing Nyla Rose next week on Dynamite. We'll see how that plays out. Christy Jane versus Hikaru Shida. Falcon Arrow for the win by Shida. Nothing too crazy. Nothing you're going to go back and rewatch. And I actually liked what Christy Janes has to offer. She's actually very colorful. She's actually fairly technically sound. I'm interested to see what else she has to offer as far as the overall division goes. But right now, Hikaru Shida, obviously she was going to get the win. She gets her first win as AEW Women's World Champion. Cody was interviewed, and he said that he was not the first picked for All Elite Wrestling. Talked about his mother, small little Cuban woman. Taught him about grit and passion. Says that he'll stand out here every week and fight for the TNT Championship. Please stick around because this is where the fun begins. Cody, undoubtedly the best babyface in all pro wrestling right now. This was a great promo. Cody Rhodes definitely is already bringing prestige and value to the championship. Now, defending the title every week, I don't want to necessarily say it's a bad decision because it's definitely going to make the title coveted. It's definitely going to make the title a focal point on television. It's definitely going to make it more meaningful. It's definitely going to bring prestige for the title, but how long before it gets stale? How long before it becomes stereotypical, and how long before people are sick of it? You see, when John Cena first did this, that was something that we've never seen before. Cena did this for months, and it was something that has never come about in the history of the industry. We've never seen this before. Probably since the days of the TV championship during the WCW days, or the hardcore championship during the Attitude Era. Now, after John Cena, everyone started doing it. Kevin Owens did it for a little bit. AJ Styles did it for a little bit with the U.S. title. Seth Rollins did it with the Intercontinental Championship. Roman Reigns did it. So, afterwards, it just became stereotypical. It became a move that everyone would go for. And now Cody Rhodes is going to be doing it. How long before it becomes old? How long before people are sick of it? Too much of a good thing is not a good thing for anyone. And I would like to have faith in Cody, but at the same point in time, after the 4th, 5th, or 6th week, it's really going to become old. People are going to be sick of it. Once a month, a title should be defended. I don't care. Once a month is completely fine. Once a month's completely fine. It gives the title and it gives the superstar a sense of specialness, only defending the title once a month. Okay, here's a championship being defended. Championships are supposed to be kept special, in a sense. And if we're going to see the TNT Championship defended every week, that's really going to take away from the TNT Championship being defended on pay-per-view. Oh, it's being defended on pay-per-view. We just saw it defended on Dynamite just a few days ago. It's really going to take away the uniqueness. It's really going to take away the specialness of seeing the TNT Championship on pay-per-view. Now, I'd like to have hope, but at the same point in time, I can't help but feel as though it's going to get old. It's going to get old. It's going to get boring. It's going to become overbearing. And it's going to take away from when the championship is defended on pay-per-view. Oh, we saw it defended on Dynamite 4 times already. What's going to happen if Cody has a match at Fyter Fest for the TNT Championship? SCU versus Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. This was good. This was good. Nothing too crazy, but it was a good tag team match. This was a #1 contenders match to see who was going to face Kenny and Hangman for the AEW World Tag Team titles next week. We had Kazarian with a big German suplex. Sabian isolated Kazarian, coming back from commercial. Sky got the hot tag with a big slingshot cutter. We had a rolling DVD by Havoc and double stomp by Sabian for a 2. They went for SCU later, did SCU, but Penelope Ford got involved. We had the dropkick Meishinuku driver combination, and Havoc and Sabian win, and they're going on to face off against Kenny and Hangman next week, and we are going to see them fight for the World Tag Team titles, and you know something? I don't mind this. Why are they doing this? Why aren't the best friends getting the match? They are mainly doing this because Kenny and Hangman, they haven't defended the titles since Revolution. They haven't defended the titles in 3 months. They're mainly looking to have them catch up on title defenses. And you know something? I don't mind that. I don't mind that, mainly because of the fact that they're trying to slowly but surely, work out a way to turn them heel. They're trying to build some tension. They're trying to add layer upon layer upon layer to the storyline. Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, they've been on a 3-match winning streak. Why not give them a World Tag Team title opportunity? They won 3 matches in a row. Why not? And on top of that, it's definitely going to make the turn that much better. Why not have them catch up on some title defenses? Why not add to their championship reign? Hangman was quarantined in California. There's really no reason to complain about this. If they're looking to catch up on title defenses and they're looking to build some prestige for their tag team title reign, they're not just going to have them losing their first title defense back. I don't mind it whatsoever. TNT Championship #1 contenders Battle Royal. I don't think anyone really cared for this. I think mainly people cared about who was going to win it. I actually thought that Orange Cassidy was going to win it. Orange Cassidy was actually attacked by Proud and Powerful because Orange Cassidy got involved in a Chris Jericho interview backstage. So Luther was chokeslammed on the apron. He was eliminated. Kiss and Cabana, they got eliminated. Avalon and Cutler got taken out together. Daniels was taken out by Stunt. Stunt was taken out by Wardlow. Billy and Luchasaurus both got eliminated by Wardlow. MJF accidentally hit Wardlow with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Cassidy and Jungle Boy eliminated MJF and Wardlow, and then we got them down to the final 2, and MJF and Wardlow, they went to the back. You were not going to have MJF win this. MJF is not going to get a TNT Championship title opportunity. MJF, he's being built up for a World Championship opportunity against Jon Moxley at All Out. Please, relax, people. Jungle Boy ended up eliminating Cassidy with a Hurricane Rana for the win, and Jungle Boy is facing Cody next week for the TNT Championship. You can definitely see how much investment that they have in Jungle Boy, having him put on a 17, 18-minute match with MJF, and now he's facing Cody. The only thing that I'm a little concerned about is that they're having Jungle Boy float around doing nothing and not in the tag team division with Luchasaurus, but I understand why, mainly because of the fact that when he does eventually win a title, does Jungle Boy, it's going to feel that much more special, and I do think that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus will be tag team champions by 2021. Next week, we also got Chris Jericho in action against Colt Cabana, as well as the World Tag Team title match, and then Cody versus Jungle Boy. So we had the Inner Circle pep rally, which was very entertaining, actually. They were giving each other gifts. Ortiz got chopped cheese. I could use some of that chopped cheese. I mean, who doesn't love chopped cheese? Jericho got Sammy a scooter. Hager read a poem, which turned into something from Taken, I believe. Jericho said that he wanted Mike Tyson's head on a silver platter from something that happened 10 years ago on Monday Night Raw. So then Tyson ended up coming out with his Mean Street Posse. Tyson was told by Jericho to apologize. Tyson actually said that, no, you were wrong, man. You stole the championship. I don't even know what the hell he was saying. Mike Tyson, I think he's been taking too many shots to the head there. So, but he goes, you're wrong, man. Mike Tyson speaking to everyone that tries to step to me. Everyone that tries to step to DJ Storms. You're wrong, man. When you swing at DJ Storms, you better not miss. That's all I gotta say. Spoiler alert. And I dropped my comb. I ain't even editing that out. But spoiler alert. They all miss. I don't miss. I had a grand slam every fucking time. But this led to a pull-apart brawl, and Jericho screaming Tyson over and over again into the camera to end the show. I don't really know where they're going with this. This was entertaining, don't get me wrong. It had an Attitude Era-like feel. I can only imagine that this is probably going to be a one-off with Tyson, and we could get a back-and-forth segment with Chris Jericho and Tyson. It's just going to be something that's probably going to last a month or two. This isn't going into All Out, trust me. If it does, then I will say that it's a little too drawn out. But if anyone can make it work, it's Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho got a fucking pen and paper over. But this was a very chaotic way to end Dynamite. NXT. I would say that this was a fairly decent show. Decent. Nothing too special. The best part was probably the fight pit between Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle, which was fucking brutal. The build towards NXT TakeOver in your house is very, very nice, and the pay-per-view itself looks very, very, very good. We had Drake Maverick versus Jake Atlas versus Kushida in the Group A Triple Threat Cruiserweight Championship Tournament match. The match itself was very good, but Drake Maverick winning completely ruined this. Drake Maverick has not been re-signed. And it just goes to show you how scummy WWE really are. And you could tell that this was a Vince McMahon move. Vince McMahon clearly saw the video, and he used this, pitched this to Triple H to further the championship tournament. They used this to develop sympathy for Drake Maverick, even though he's not going to win. And on top of that, if he wasn't even going to win, if you weren't even going to rehire him, why did you even put him in the finals to begin with? And against El Hijo del Fantasma. Now, I think Fantasma's great, but realistically, who the fuck's Fantasma, and why should we care about him? Realistically speaking, Fantasma hasn't even had a chance to establish himself outside of this Cruiserweight Championship tournament. In his fourth match, you're going to give him the Cruiserweight Championship? Why is Drake Maverick in the finals at all? You really shafted Kushida? You shafted Kushida for this storyline with Drake Maverick, which is not going to result in Drake Maverick winning at all. It's going to result to him still getting terminated, and El Hijo del Fantasma is going to win the Cruiserweight Championship to further his storyline with these masked men. Why didn't you just have the masked men in the storyline with Fantasma to begin with, on its own? Kushida, realistically, should be the next Cruiserweight champ. I'm surprised they didn't go with Kushida versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. This was a fucking scummy move. This was a terrible move. This made the entire tournament a joke. This made the entire tournament a fucking joke. The match was good. The match was good, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to discredit what these guys did in the ring. But at the end of the day, Drake Maverick in the finals, and they had Drake Maverick make it this far when he's not going to win the tournament at all. You're giving it to El Hijo del Fantasma when he hasn't even had a chance to establish himself. Meanwhile, Kushida's been in NXT for over a year now, and he hasn't even had one crack at a championship. It really is ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Vince McMahon's booking is starting to seep into NXT. Slowly but surely, with Charlotte as the champion, now with this shit with Drake Maverick. You can really tell it's starting to affect NXT. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I knew for a fact it was going to happen at some point. Now, the booking of Vince McMahon, it's starting to seep from Raw and SmackDown into NXT. Vince McMahon slowly but surely has his hands on NXT. If you're telling me that this has anything to do with Triple H, you're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your fucking mind. This has absolutely nothing to do with Triple H. This ain't a Triple H move. Triple H even admitted that it was Vince McMahon's plan to put Rhea Ripley against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. That was Vince McMahon's move. That was Vince McMahon's show. That was Vince McMahon's decision to put the title on Charlotte Flair. Same thing here. Triple H would not do this. Johnny and Candice came out. Says that the Johnny Gargano Invitational will take place. He introduced Adrian Hilarious. So Johnny won this with the Gargano escape, and then afterwards Mia Yim and Keith Lee were shown on the screen mocking the Gargano's dinner. Tegan Nox came in with Gargano's pizza. Lee says putting your hands on Yim has consequences. And next week, we get Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim. At TakeOver, we get Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano, in which I think could be the match of the night. And I actually like that they're not putting Gargano against the world champion this early. I like that they're taking their time. And this can wait. This can wait. This can play out. Keith Lee, I can definitely see winning. Keith Lee, I can definitely see advancing past TakeOver as North American champion. And his North American Championship reign is only going to be further enhanced. And I actually have no problem with this whatsoever. And it definitely shows you how much investment that they have in Keith Lee. Johnny Gargano is not winning. He's merely there to put Keith Lee over. Johnny Gargano is going to be NXT champion by the end of the year. Possibly early 2021, I would say. But I don't mind Johnny Gargano getting a North American title match. I don't mind it at all. Gargano and Lee, take my money. Shotzi Blackheart versus Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez is greener than my Twitter Abby. Raquel Gonzalez is greener than my Twitter and YouTube Abby. She is not impressive whatsoever. She has not improved whatsoever. She is fucking boring. And again, she has hampered down Dakota Kai so much. And I mean so fucking much. Shotzi Blackheart, she continues to evolve. I don't necessarily know where they're going with this because this storyline has been going on since November with Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. Then we introduced Shotzi Blackheart, and then we got Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know what this is going to result in, but it is really becoming repetitive. It's really becoming boring. It's really becoming overbearing. It's like, when is enough enough? They need to get Raquel Gonzalez away from Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, she has lost so much steam. She has lost so much momentum. And it sucks because at one point I was saying that she was the best heel character in the division and she could be going up against Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. Now she is far, far away from that. Raquel Gonzalez is one of the reasons why. So Blackheart with the enziguri, Raquel with a big elbow. Kai took out Blackheart's... she actually started to take out Blackheart's tank before Tegan Nox came out to aid Blackheart. Raquel was caught with a big senton. Shotzi with a coffin drop, taking out both women. She actually hit hard. I'm surprised she didn't break her fucking neck. So Raquel with the spine buster after Tegan and Candice got into it on the outside. The ref was caught up and Kai tripped up Shotzi and Raquel got the win off the distraction. Raquel is not impressive whatsoever. I don't know where they're going with Raquel Gonzalez. The partnership with Dakota Kai is terrible. They need to break them up. Kai needs to go on her own. Raquel needs to never be seen on television again. I don't know where they're going with Shotzi or Tegan. We'll wait and see what happens, but again, this storyline has been going on seemingly forever. Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green. I did not give a shit about this match. It wasn't bad. Just didn't give a shit about it. I mean, I don't give a shit about anything that Charlotte Flair does. Anything that Charlotte Flair has been doing ever since the Royal Rumble is an automatic thumbs down for me. Anything that Charlotte Flair has been doing ever since the Royal Rumble is something that I do not want to be a part of. It's something that I do not want anything to do with. Charlotte Flair ended up winning with a roll-up, feet on the ropes. I cannot stress to you how imperative it is that Charlotte Flair loses the championship. It is fucking imperative that she loses the championship at NXT TakeOver in your house. I don't care whether it's to Ripley. I don't care whether it's to Io. I prefer Io, but regardless, she needs to lose that championship. Io Shirai needs to take that championship off of Charlotte Flair, whether she pins Rhea or she pins Charlotte. Charlotte Flair needs to lose that championship. Every single second of every single day that she holds that championship, it is another second that the NXT women's title and the division is devalued. A woman like her holding the championship has an adverse effect. Nobody gives a shit about Charlotte Flair, and now no one gives a shit about the NXT women's division because you have a prim and proper privileged princess. That's a fucking tongue twister right there. You have a woman like Charlotte Flair holding the championship. So we had Regal and Cole negotiating some terms. So Cole agreed to face Dream at TakeOver, but if Dream loses, he'll never again challenge for the title as long as Adam Cole holds it. Dream says he'll find a location worthy of the spotlight for both men. So I'm guessing that means it's going to be cinematic. And my prediction and my theory continues to come true. I believe that we are going to see at least one cinematic match on every single pay-per-view for the duration of this pandemic era. And in this case, the cinematic match is going to be Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I'm hoping that it's going to be better than Gargano and Ciampa. That went an hour. That did not need to go an hour. I believe that if they want to, they could do this for 20 minutes. They could do this for 30 minutes. I do believe that these two have the potential to put on something of substance. And I can definitely see Velveteen Dream winning the championship. Tommaso Ciampa versus Leon Ruff. We had Scarlett coming out to watch. Ciampa won with the fairy tale ending. And then we had Karrion Kross cut a promo on the Titantron. This is actually the match I'm looking forward to the most. Because I actually am very, very intrigued at what Karrion Kross can do against a guy like Tommaso Ciampa. So next week we got Drake Maverick and Phantasma in the finals of the NXT Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. I don't necessarily know why they're having it on NXT and they're not putting it on TakeOver. I'm guessing they want to further the storyline with the Masked Men. Then again, it seems as though they never had that much investment and that much care in the tournament to begin with, considering that they fucking put Drake Maverick in the finals. But Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, Fight Pit. Kurt Angle's the special guest referee. This was undoubtedly the best thing on the show. This was fucking brutal. If you want to go back and rewatch this was fucking brutal. This was hard-hitting. I love this. So he started out hot, ground and pound, submission grapples. Riddle actually hit a very swift enziguri off the cage. Thatcher actually got his teeth knocked out. Legitimately got his teeth knocked out. He was picking up his teeth off the mat. His mouth was a fucking bloody mess. His teeth were chipped. I can only imagine he was in fucking severe pain. So right out of the gate, within the first 5 minutes, we had Thatcher's teeth getting knocked out of his fucking mouth. It was fucking brutal. So we had a big belly-to-belly suplex by Thatcher off the cage. We had multiple submission attempts by both men. They started fighting on top of the platform. Thatcher with a necklock suplex on the platform. Thatcher actually crashed to the floor. We had a beautiful floating bro off the platform. And then Thatcher locked in a rear naked choke and Riddle passes out. Timothy Thatcher wins Fight Pit. Fucking brutal. Brutal match. I loved it. I thought this was great. Thatcher looked amazing. I don't know where Timothy Thatcher goes from here, but they really got something big in Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher is an absolute beast. He looked like a beast in the end, getting his teeth knocked out and making Riddle pass out by the end of it. I absolutely love this. I think this was beautifully played out, and I think that Timothy Thatcher is really going to be something in the future. And Matt Riddle We saw the announcement on SmackDown, which I will go over right now. SmackDown itself, the show was mainly built around the storyline with Jeff Hardy and him getting into a car accident with Elias. So Elias was in an accident and Jeff Hardy's rental car was involved. Jeff was found in the bushes, smelled like alcohol, and the cops cuffed him and took Jeff Hardy in as Elias was carted into the ambulance. So an executive was announcing the news to the locker room. He announced that Jeff Hardy and Elias have both been taken out of the tournament. Of course, that Sheamus made a smarky comment. So Bryan said that we should each pick opponents to face in the semifinals, but Styles said no. So he took the free ride into the finals, and we got a battle royal where the winner would face Bryan later that night. AJ called Bryan an idiot to end the segment. I have to say that this was actually a very innovative and creative way to get Jeff Hardy out of the tournament. This was actually very well done. I thought that this actually enhanced the storyline between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus even further. And Sheamus, he ended up winning the Battle Royal. Sheamus ended up winning the Battle Royal. We actually had Gable get eliminated by Cesaro, who wasn't even the legal man. So that actually started a little mini program there. And Sheamus ended up winning the Battle Royal, and it was a fairly decent Battle Royal. So the first 35 minutes of SmackDown was actually fairly decent. We got a very nice angle that actually adds to the storyline between Jeff and Sheamus. And to be quite honest with you, it has, in a sense, given the program life. It's in a sense given the program life. I didn't necessarily think I was going to like Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. But now with this incident with Sheamus framing Jeff Hardy for the accident involving Elias and Jeff Hardy being a drunk, now Sheamus taking Jeff Hardy's spot. This actually adds to that storyline. It adds tension. And it played out very nicely in the main event. I actually like this. So Lacey Evans took on Sonya Deville. This was a complete fucking waste of time. We had Sonya with a straight right. She began toying with Lacey. Lacey was actually counted out with Sonya. They got into a brawl on the outside, and that was it. This was terrible. Lacey Evans is a fucking disease to the women's division. Are you really telling me that you couldn't have just had Sonya go out there and beat Lacey clean? I mean, I'm glad that Sonya didn't lose, but at the same point in time, you really telling me that you couldn't have had just Sonya get the win over Lacey clean? Why do we need to see another match between the two? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Lacey Evans, I would rather not see her on television at all. We had another Forgotten Sons promo. Wesley Blake said that they will no longer turn the other cheek. Our blood was on your hands, and now your blood will be on ours. Pretty much the same thing they said last week as they put their fist to their heart. I'm actually liking what they're doing with the Forgotten Sons. I'm not going to bullshit you. I actually like what they're doing with them. I actually think that this could actually result in something of substance for the Forgotten Sons, and I do hope it does. I do hope it results in a match with the New Day at Backlash, with the Forgotten Sons going over. Anyone but the New Day. Anyone but the fucking New Day. Speaking of the New Day start on a moment of bliss. Didn't even pay attention to what they were saying before Bayley and Sasha interrupted. I literally did not take any notes other than the fact that this led to a match between Bliss and Sasha, which I didn't even pay attention to. All that I know is Sasha Banks won with a roll-up. Oh, by the way, Nikki Cross on commentary is Iconics levels of bad. Iconics levels. I swear to God. I was actually talking to Joseph Conlon at Big Fight Feel on Twitter during this match, and he was actually saying that she was actually giving him a fucking headache. The guy's not even 18. And he's getting a fucking headache because of fucking a rambling Scottish psychopath on commentary acting like a giddy, bubbly idiot. I swear to God. Nikki Cross, in this current role, she is just as bad as the Iconics. And I don't even believe I'm saying it. It kills me. It kills me to say that. Because I am a huge fan of Nikki Cross. I know how good she is in the ring. I know what she can do. I saw that last woman standing match with Asuka. In this role, Nikki Cross is someone that I don't even want to see on television at all. I would rather them just completely take Nikki Cross off of television at all than have to watch her out there rambling and screaming on commentary like a fucking idiot. Swear to God, my ears are still fucking ringing. My ears are still fucking ringing. Getting a little heated, and when I get heated, my hair frizzes out. Swear to God, I need to get to a fucking barber. If barbers don't open, I swear to God. Let me tell you something. Off topic here before we get into the rest of the Lightning Flash update. The fact that my hair is this long, it's frizzing out. I have literally had to resort to blow drying my hair. And I have never blow dried my hair, ever. And I've had to resort to blow drying my hair. Swear to God, I need to get a haircut. I need to get this touched up. I need to get this touched up. I mean, trust me, this glorious sideburn chin strap combo with this mustache, it's fantastic, but after a while it gets a little frizzy. But I know the ladies like the frizz. Oh, you know I had to throw that one in there. You knew I had to throw that one in there. So, Elias was in stable condition. There was no update on Jeff Hardy. They didn't even talk about Jeff Hardy for the rest of the show outside of this one little incident before we got into Cesaro and Chad Gable. This only went about 4 minutes, but it was actually a very hot 4-minute sprint. Chad Gable came out of the gates hot with some rolling capo kicks. Cesaro with a big gut wrench suplex for a 2. Cesaro with a huge, and I mean a huge powerbomb. It was Undertaker Last Ride-esque. Beautiful. Gable with an ankle lock, but Cesaro fought out of it. They started to trade pinfall attempts. Gable with a sunset flip roll-up for the win, and that was it. Decent sprint. If this is what we're going to see, perhaps in another match down the line between the two, then I'm all for this. I would actually love to see this on Backlash's card, possibly on the pre-show, similar to what Jeff Hardy and Cesaro did on the pre-show for Money in the Bank. And I would definitely love to see Cesaro and Gable. I will not address him by his other name. I would love to see Cesaro and Gable on the pre-show for Backlash. I definitely wouldn't mind this. Have them go 12, 13, 14 minutes. So Mandy and Otis had a pool date. Mandy took a nap. She was having a dream about Otis before a big cannonball and splash woke her up. Mandy and Otis, they made out in the pool. And Mandy said, oh yeah. So, I didn't really care about this, but, Otis, I never thought I'd say this, but, man, I want to be Otis. I'm pretty sure every straight guy out there watching this wanted to be Otis. Kurt Angle, he announced that Matt Riddle is coming to SmackDown Live. This was reported by PW Insider. They said that they had plans for Matt Riddle to come up before WrestleMania 36, but those were put on pause, and now they're starting to come into effect. On one hand, I want to say that this is a good thing because SmackDown, it's in desperate need of a shot of adrenaline in the arm. And Matt Riddle is that shot of adrenaline. Matt Riddle is one of the best that they've signed in the last few years. He's one of the most charismatic superstars that they have in the WWE right now. He's unique. But that's just the thing. Everything on SmackDown is lackluster, watered down. It doesn't feel special. And it's just something that you shrug your shoulders at. Literally, everything on SmackDown feels that way. It's felt that way since the move to Fox. We've only had about, 2 or 3? This was probably the 4th decent SmackDown that we've had in 8 months. And that has to do with the fact that they've literally hampered everyone down on this show. What are my thoughts on Matt Riddle coming to SmackDown? Just watch the Royal Rumble earlier this year. 1 minute. 1 minute. Gone. You can definitely tell what Vince McMahon thinks of Matt Riddle right there. Again, the show needs a shot of adrenaline. No one on the show feels special. But at the same point in time, I don't even think that adding someone like a Matt Riddle would even help. It's beyond the point of just calling superstars up at this rate. It's beyond that point. I would have SmackDown completely removed off the air for a couple months and then come back with an entirely new setup. New announcers, new competitors, new everything. That's what SmackDown really needs, because the reputation that they've built, they're never going to shake away that stink. And based on the track record of everyone outside of The Shield, Bliss, Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, and Kevin Owens that have come up from NXT, I give Matt Riddle times 2, 1, 27 minus the 7. 5 to 7 weeks, I would say. 5 to 7 weeks, I would say, before Matt Riddle is just as watered down, just as lackluster, and just as ordinary as literally every other competitor on the show. I have no faith that they would book Matt Riddle correctly. None. I would like to have some sort of hope. I would like to be optimistic. I would like to be more positive. But at the same point in time, the company hasn't given me a reason to. So I can't. I don't know what you want me to say. Next week we got Miz and Morrison issuing a warning to Braun Strowman. And then we got Bliss and Cross versus Sasha and Bayley for the women's tag team titles. I would rather see the women's tag team titles burnt in a fire. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. IC title tournament finals. This was a fairly decent match, and we actually got Jeff Hardy returning in the end. These two were actually hitting hard right out of the gate in the early portions. We had some stiff kicks, some stiff clotheslines. Bryan with a tope suicida going into commercial. Sheamus with repeated elbows and knees right to the side of Bryan's head. Gotta watch his head. Watch his head there. Sheamus with the cloverleaf, but Bryan got to the ropes. Bryan made it to the ropes. We had a big missile drop kick. White noise by Sheamus for a 2. Sheamus was calling for the bro kick, but Jeff Hardy out of nowhere distracted Sheamus. Bryan with the running knee, and Bryan wins. And he goes on to face off against AJ Styles in 2 weeks for the Intercontinental Championship. Can I ask, before we talk about the attack with Jeff Hardy and Sheamus, why is the tournament finals taking place on SmackDown? Are you really telling me you couldn't have put it on Backlash to actually add some value to that pay-per-view? Backlash looks like complete shit. Backlash looks like complete shit. I mean, I'm telling you right now, not even Bryan and Styles for the IC title is going to help in the ratings. Not even they are going to help in the ratings. Trust me. Not even them. Hardy attacked Sheamus, and Hardy stood tall. I actually enjoyed the angle. I actually thought it was very well done, and the match at Backlash is all but confirmed. I actually think that this could possibly be the best thing going into Backlash. Hardy and Sheamus, I said that it was a terrible decision. I said that both men's momentum would eventually be halted, but I actually have no problem with them going into Backlash now after what they did on SmackDown. It added layers to their storyline. It added some tension, and it could possibly end up being the best thing on Backlash. Who knows? Quickly, we're going to go through 205 Live, and then we'll get to the news, rumors, and reports, and boy, oh boy, do I got a lot to say. Tony Nese versus Tyler Breeze. This was actually a very good match. Tyler Breeze actually does not get enough appreciation for bringing the best out of his opponents. He did it to Isaiah Swerve Scott last week. This week, he did it to Tony Nese. We had a big spin kick by Nese. We had Breeze mounting a comeback. Breeze with a big ending for 2. Nese's leg was slammed into the post. We had a big half crab, but Nese got to the ropes. Big forearm strike and a double stomp by Nese for 2. Big Uranagi by Tyler Breeze for 2. Nese ended up hitting the running Nese for the win. I'm actually surprised that Nese actually won. I don't necessarily know where he's going. I don't know where Tyler Breeze is going, but I do want to see more from Tony Nese in the future. I do want to see more from Tony Nese as far as the Cruiserweight Championship division goes. I would love to see him in a Cruiserweight Championship match. We'll definitely see what happens there. Danny Burch versus Tahuti Miles. I didn't really pay attention to this. Tahuti Miles wins with a roll-up. I did not like this whatsoever. Tahuti Miles, he's not bad, but at the same point in time, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, they've been built up to face off against Imperium for the NXT Tag Team titles, which will probably happen at TakeOver. Why is Danny Burch losing? Why is Danny Burch losing to Tahuti Miles, of all people? I don't get it. I don't get it. That right there, that was a terrible fucking move. But regardless, that wrapped up 205 Live. Really nothing outside of that very good match with Tony Nese and Tyler Breeze. I don't know where Tony Nese or Tyler Breeze is going, but that wraps up the weekly show reviews. We're going to get into the news, rumors, and reports. I figured I'd start off with this. Fightful, as well as numerous other sources, reported that Kairi Sane suffered a cut on her head outside of the ring in a match with Nia Jax, of all people. They had to stop the match and patch up the cut before they finished the match quickly. Supposedly, it was not that serious. Now, regardless of it being serious or not, I'm going to address this, and I have a lot to say about this. The first thing I want to say is I actually want to start off with a question. When is enough enough? When is enough enough? When is WWE going to stop dancing around the issue? I do not understand how one woman could constantly fuck up, constantly have incident after incident after incident after incident, and nothing is done. Nothing is done. Nothing is said. No action is taken. Nia Jax, and let me tell you something, Nia Jax actually started off fairly decent on the main roster. I'm not even going to bullshit you. She actually started off fairly decent. But this, now it's becoming inexcusable. Now it's becoming flat out ridiculous. This is not just a one-time issue. This has been happening since 2017. This started all in 2017. The streak started in 2017 where Nia Jax hit a shoulder breaker on Charlotte and dropped Charlotte flat on her face. And then just a few minutes later, she had an incident where Charlotte Flair did her moonsault to the outside. Nia was out of position. Nia didn't even catch Charlotte, and Charlotte's leg hit Nia in the shoulder, and Charlotte went face first into the mat. A few months later, she injured Bayley's shoulder ahead of Bayley's championship match with Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks needed to take over. Then what? We had the incident with Becky Lynch, the most famous incident with Becky Lynch, where a reckless punch landed Becky square in the jaw and broke her face. 2 months later, she had a match with Sasha Banks. In which she had two incidents in this match, where she had Sasha Banks in a fireman's carry position on the middle rope, and she dropped Sasha Banks. And I've seen this move play out numerous times. Where a competitor has their opponent on the middle rope, and they look to drop him on the top rope, and it's usually their chest or their shoulder region that hits the top rope. Sasha Banks was dropped face first on the top rope in that match in July going into the Royal Rumble of that year. Face first. She was dropped face first. Nia Jax didn't even attempt to get into position correctly. And then on top of that, she had a moment where she was on the apron, and Sasha Banks was going for a Hurricane Rana, and I don't know what was going to happen. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be Sasha drilling Nia Jax's face into the apron, or Nia Jax doing a somersault off the apron to the floor. But Sasha Banks tried to do a Hurricane Rana. Nia Jax just lightly face-planted the apron and let Sasha Banks fall to the floor. I'm surprised she didn't break a fucking rib. I'm surprised Sasha didn't break her nose initially during the spot where she was dropped face first on the top turnbuckle. Nia Jax was injured. She comes back, and now she has two incidents with Kairi Sane. One in which she recklessly dropped Kairi Sane neck first, into the bottom turnbuckle. While it didn't result in anything serious, it was still a reckless display and a show of poor in-ring etiquette. And on top of that, now we have this incident. For those of you trying to justify this by saying, oh, well, Seth Rollins had these types of incidents. Seth Rollins had 3 incidents spanning over the course of a year. Nia Jax has had incident after incident after incident after incident. On top of that, 2 of Seth Rollins' major incidents weren't even his fault. Sting came out in an interview and he said that he took the move wrong. He took that buckle bomb wrong. He said in an interview, I took the buckle bomb wrong. He's openly admitting his mistake. And on top of that, with Finn Balor took the barricade bomb move wrong. Finn Balor put his arm over the barricade, which caused him to tear his labrum. The only incident that Seth Rollins was really fully responsible for was the incident with John Cena and his knee breaking John Cena's nose. But Seth Rollins hasn't had an incident like this since 2016. Rollins hasn't had an incident like this since 2016. Nia Jax, whether it be minor or whether it be major, resulting in people taking time off to rehab the injuries, Nia Jax has had incident after incident after incident after incident. First time, accidents happen. Second time, it depends how close the situations are to one another. Third, fourth, fifth time, that's it. You just suck at your job. You're not good at what you do. After the third, fourth, and fifth time, Nia Jax, she should have been taken off of television, she should have been put in the PC, and she should have been training and training and training, bettering her craft, becoming safer. But why? Why didn't they do that? Because WWE doesn't have the fucking balls to do that, because Nia Jax is related to the oh-so-special Anoa'i family with the Usos and The Rock and Roman Reigns. So, of course, when you're related to a famous family like that and you have a rich heritage in the wrestling industry, of course, you're going to get special privileges. It's blatant favoritism. Blatant favoritism. And it's clear as day that WWE does not give a shit. Nia Jax doesn't give a shit either. If Nia Jax truly gave a shit, then she wouldn't be trolling her audience and she wouldn't be trolling her fan base on social media. She literally trolls the fan base every single week on social media. Whenever she's wrestling, she trolls the fan base and literally makes jokes about this shit. She makes jokes about this shit. If that does not tell you that she doesn't give a shit about who she's injuring and who she's not injuring, I don't know what to fucking tell you. And on top of that, then I got people trying to justify this. I don't care who the fuck you are. I really do not care. If you're a fan of Nia Jax at this rate, you are the fucking problem. There is no justification for this. The fact that WWE blatantly is letting this shit slide just goes to show you that not only does Nia not care, but they don't care. What else is new? WWE doesn't give a shit about the safety of its superstars. Vince McMahon, he don't give a shit about the safety of its superstars. The only reason why Nia Jax is being featured on television in these types of roles, the only reason why she's getting women's championship opportunity is because of her name. Because of her name value. She's literally the Samoan version of Charlotte Flair. The only difference is that she's not blonde, number one, and she doesn't have as many championships underneath her belt. But she gets women's title opportunity after women's title opportunity after women's title opportunity. Why is that? Has she earned it? Absolutely not. Does she deserve it? Absolutely not. Is she improving in the ring? Absolutely not. She's getting worse and worse and worse. When is enough enough? That's what I want to know. I'm not calling for Nia's termination, but at some point, they can't ignore this. They need to acknowledge it, and they need to fix it now. Thought I'd start off with that, get that heated rant out of the way. Moving on, Nigel McGuinness. He was actually among the names that have been furloughed by the WWE due to the coronavirus pandemic. Meltzer actually confirmed this on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer newsletter. I feel bad for Nigel McGuinness, and again, it just goes to show you that WWE does not have any recollection of what true talent really is. You're furloughing Nigel McGuinness. You're furloughing all of these. You're furloughing Nigel McGuinness, Deonna Purrazzo. You're furloughing Sarah Logan, the OC, Heath Slater, Rusev, EC3, Leo Rush. But you keep Nia Jax, you keep Braun Strowman, you keep Baron Corbin. Good job. But my thoughts and prayers go out to Nigel McGuinness and his family. I hope that he's okay. I hope that everything works out okay for him. Drew Gulak worked the recent set of tapings, and he's not going anywhere. He was on SmackDown this past Friday, aka yesterday. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select actually reported that Drew Gulak has been added back to the recent roster section of WWE's website, and he has been re-signed. Now, I don't know the full details of why he's been re-signed, but I have a theory. Now, some people may not like this theory, but it is a valid fucking theory. I don't know about you, but with the teases of FTR and FTR's recent debut, and then the debut of Brian Cage at Double or Nothing, I'm not saying that it's a definite, but I wouldn't be surprised if WWE went out of their way to appease Drew Gulak, so that way he wouldn't go to All Elite Wrestling after they saw Brian Cage show up and the Revival, the Revolt, FTR, being teased on being the Elite, and then they show up this past Wednesday on Dynamite. I wouldn't be surprised if those two debuts in the last week for All Elite Wrestling were the main reason why Drew Gulak and his demands were possibly met by the WWE. It's really not very far-fetched to put that past WWE, because you know that WWE is watching All Elite Wrestling. You know that they're genuinely concerned about All Elite Wrestling. You know that All Elite Wrestling has all of this potential, and then they have all their eyes set on all these different types of talent. And you know that Drew Gulak was definitely a talent that they had their eyes set on, because Drew Gulak, definitely one of the best technical wrestlers, probably one of the best pure technical wrestlers in the world, period. Drew Gulak had a lot of value as it is. The value that Drew Gulak has is unparalleled. He has the potential to be a solid U.S. champion, a solid Intercontinental champion. Drew Gulak has value, and you know for a fact that they were definitely going to bring Drew Gulak in to All Elite Wrestling, possibly fighting for the TNT Championship against Cody. You know that Drew Gulak was going to reach some untapped potential that WWE wouldn't even allow him to reach. So it's really not that far-fetched to think that WWE really gave in to Drew Gulak's demands because of Brian Cage debuting and FTR debuting for All Elite Wrestling. And they didn't want to have Drew Gulak in the coming weeks debut for All Elite Wrestling either. Moving on, we have a report from journalist Tom Collahue stating that Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley is still a match WWE is planning. He states, and I quote, "The match with Lesnar is definitely still coming. Lashley has been very open. Anytime he's asked anything, he returned to the WWE because he wants to take on Brock Lesnar. And the fact is that this was something that he took into contract negotiations with the WWE when he made his return. He wanted that to be respected. It's definitely still coming." End quote. The match with Brock Lesnar, outside of the WWE Championship match, is probably the only thing that I would actually be interested in seeing from Bobby Lashley, to be quite honest with you. Because Bobby Lashley hasn't shown me anything of value. I mean, I can only hope that Drew McIntyre will bring Bobby Lashley to a decent match. I can only hope that Drew McIntyre will bring Bobby Lashley to a decent WWE Championship match, something of value, something that we can invest our time in. But a match with Lesnar, I think that match is something that everyone would want to see. Some more so than others. I'd like to believe it's still coming, but at the same point in time, I can't really see it happening because of the simple fact that this coronavirus pandemic has pretty much halted everything, and I don't necessarily think that Brock Lesnar would want to work during this coronavirus pandemic. I mean, maybe he will. Maybe he will. We don't necessarily know. We don't necessarily know, considering that, you know for a fact that WWE is going to throw all the money that they possibly can, but during this time, they can't really throw all the money that they possibly can at Brock Lesnar because they're currently in a money-saving position because they literally got no fans, and the fans and the ticket sales are definitely the biggest asset in them gaining money. The ratings have been suffering. So you know for a fact that they don't have all this money to throw at Brock Lesnar. I'm not sure when the match is coming. It would make sense that it would be coming at SummerSlam, but I really don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening based off the fact that I don't think that Lesnar would want to work the PC tapings, even though they've added an audience. Even though they've added an audience, I can't see it. I really can't see it. If the match does happen, then I can definitely see it happening at WrestleMania 37. I'm not sure if this pandemic would still be going on by then, but it's definitely a possibility. Right now, a match like this, it would really be a big question mark. I don't really know what else I could say about that. Speaking of a question mark, Sasha Banks and Bayley possibly being extended, not canceled, but extended. What I mean by that is the feud and the storyline is being extended past SummerSlam. So the blowoff match will not be taking place at SummerSlam. Sasha versus Bayley was originally planned for SummerSlam 2020. However, WWE now wants to extend the feud as they reportedly see more potential in drawing it out rather than rushing it. I believe this was reported on Wrestle Talk, if I'm not mistaken. The report goes on to say that part of the decision to delay the match has been due with the venue. SummerSlam was originally slated to take place in Boston, Sasha Banks' hometown, but those plans are now up in the air. The match isn't off the table, but WWE is considering other options at the moment. I understand, in a sense, I do. I really do. I understand, in a sense, why WWE wants to wait to draw it out, because they want the match to be in Boston, and they want Sasha Banks to receive that babyface hometown reaction, and they really want to recreate that magic that we saw in Brooklyn, which I don't think they ever will. I don't think anything is going to recreate what we got at TakeOver Brooklyn 1. That match was something special. That match was a once-in-a-lifetime type deal. That match literally had expectations here, and they raised it here, off camera. But I do think that they want a reaction for Sasha Banks that almost parallels what we got in Brooklyn, even though I don't think we're going to get a reaction that even parallels that in Brooklyn. I understand them wanting to draw it out, and they want to wait until Sasha Banks and Bayley has an actual crowd, and they want to have it in Boston so Sasha can get the babyface reaction when she eventually wins the title. But ultimately, you need to think about this for a minute. What is WWE going to do to really keep the feud special? Because based on everything that's been going on, I can already see some people saying, just have Sasha turn on Bayley already. They want the match to take place at SummerSlam. They don't give a shit. Literally, people on social media, they don't give a shit. They want to see this match at SummerSlam. They want to see the blow-off at SummerSlam. And they want to see Sasha Banks win at SummerSlam no matter what. They want to see it. They want to get it over with. You do have to ask yourself the question as well. If this is to continue past SummerSlam, what are they going to do to keep this special? What are they going to do to keep you invested in it? What are they going to do to keep it from getting stale? And when is this blow-off essentially going to take place? Survivor Series? Hell in a Cell? TLC? There's only two places that this could take this could take place. The two places that the blow-off between Sasha and Bayley could take place, with Sasha winning the championship, it's either at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. You didn't do it at WrestleMania because you elected to start to tell the storyline of Bayley abusing her friendship with Sasha Banks. Now you need to pull the trigger. You either need to pull the trigger or you're going to have to wait 8 months. You're going to have to wait 7 to 8 months into WrestleMania 37 to pull the trigger again. And by then, I don't think anyone's going to give a shit. I think everyone is going to be saying the same thing as I was saying about Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre at Money in the Bank, even though it was a great match. That match was 9 months too late. That match should have taken place at SummerSlam of last year for the Universal Championship. They recreated it this year with the roles reversed, And the build was terrible. Seth Rollins did not deserve it. Seth Rollins did not need to go in and face Drew McIntyre. We got a decent match. It was a great match. Matter of fact, a great WWE Championship match, but it was too little too late for that program. This brings that to a whole new meaning. People are going to be saying, too little too late. It's not going to have the same impact. It's not going to have the same feel. It's not going to have the same effect. You need to capitalize on it now. I understand that you want to wait and you want to get the babyface reaction for Sasha Banks in her hometown of Boston or on a big stage. But at this rate, if it's not at SummerSlam, it's going to have to take place at WrestleMania. And WrestleMania, I don't think by next year we're going to be having WrestleMania 37 in a stadium. If so, if we do have it, it's probably going to be under the coronavirus pandemic precaution rules. And we're going to have the 25% max capacity. We're going to have the strict social distancing rules. At this rate, you need to take advantage of it and you need to pull the trigger on it now. No excuses. Aside from Matt Riddle, there is another superstar. There is another superstar who is in talks of moving up. Wrestle Talks, Louis Danjor, or Dangor, or however the fuck you pronounce this schmuck's name. I don't watch Wrestle Talk. I don't support Wrestle Talk. Just pointing that out there. But he reported that Dominik Dijakovic is set to make the move to either Raw or SmackDown. He wrestled his most recent match on NXT against Johnny Gargano on the May 6th episode of NXT. Now, Dijakovic, undoubtedly one of the most underrated superstars that WWE has right now. One of the most underrated WWE superstars that WWE has right now. And we take a look at Dijakovic. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone would say that he is a Vince McMahon guy. He's everything that Vince McMahon would love. Take a look at him. He's tall. He's got big muscles. He's agile. He's got a great look. But we said the same thing about EC3. We said the same thing about EC3, and look what happened to EC3. Faced off against Jon Moxley 2 weeks in a row. He won one, he lost one. He was then taken off of television, put on main event in an extended losing streak, and then put in a 24/7 title chase, got injured, and then fired on Black Wednesday last month. We said the same thing about EC3 as we're saying about Dominik Dijakovic, and look what happened. And Dominik Dijakovic, I don't necessarily know why they're even calling up Dijakovic right now, because he hasn't really even gotten started in NXT, to be quite honest with you. He really had his breakout moment in his feud with Keith Lee, which culminated in what will ultimately go down as probably one of the best matches of the entire year with Keith Lee for the North American title in the opening match at TakeOver Portland. Realistically speaking, Dominik Dijakovic could possibly be the one to take the title off of Keith Lee if they wanted to. Dominik Dijakovic could be North American champion. The fact that we're talking about Dominik Dijakovic getting called up and he could possibly be on Raw or SmackDown, I would prefer him to go to SmackDown. I know people don't want to hear that, but again, SmackDown needs a shot of adrenaline. SmackDown needs all the help that they can get at this rate, and I know for a fact that they're not just going to take SmackDown off the board completely, even though they should, and then have it come back months later with a new feel, new show, new superstars, new everything. You need all the help for SmackDown that you can get. SmackDown's upper mid-card to main event scene is fucking horrible. You got Braun Strowman as Universal Champion. You got fucking Baron Corbin in almost every single major segment. Who else is there? You barely got any baby faces. You got Jeff Hardy and you got Daniel Bryan. You need some top baby faces. You need a Matt Riddle. You need a Dominik Dijakovic. But Dominik Dijakovic, again, he hasn't even gotten started. He hasn't even gotten started. He hasn't even established himself. You're going to call him up without a championship reign, and it's literally going to feel just like EC3. I literally don't have any faith that WWE would actually give Dominik Dijakovic the proper treatment that he deserves. Dominik Dijakovic, again, he is one of the most underrated talent that they have. Dominik Dijakovic, you take a look at what Dominik Dijakovic has been doing. His matches with Lee, his match with Gargano, matches with Damian Priest, even Cameron Grimes. And Cameron Grimes can bring Dijakovic to a damn good match. Dijakovic is a great professional wrestler. Dijakovic goes out there and he busts his fucking ass. Dominic Dijakovic is a fucking warrior. You expect Dijakovic to have that same level of intensity. You expect Dijakovic to be doing everything that Dijakovic usually does on Raw or SmackDown as he's doing in NXT. Again, the track record. It's literally the same shit that I revert back to every single time we talk about this. Every single time I mention this, it's literally no different. The track record of WWE speaks for itself. I cannot have any faith in someone like Vince McMahon to book a Matt Riddle or a Dominic Dijakovic with actual value and actual importance when the majority of NXT call-ups, outside of 9 people, have all been failures on the main roster, and it's not even their fault. Look at Apollo Crews. It took Apollo Crews 4 years. 4 years to finally get this opportunity. 4 years to finally get some appreciation. 4 years for Vince McMahon to finally be convinced that Apollo Crews is someone of value and Apollo Crews is someone that we should be investing our time in. If he goes to Raw, Raw doesn't need him. Raw is already stacked. He'll get lost in the shuffle on Monday Night Raw. Raw already has so much talent. Look at Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair has been called up. She hasn't had a match in over a fucking month. Where's Bianca Belair? Again, why didn't they do a tournament? And why didn't they have Bianca Belair in the tournament for the Raw Women's Championship? Instead, they took away Asuka and the Money in the Bank briefcase as element of surprise. But that I already did a long-winded rant on that. And he goes to SmackDown. If he goes to SmackDown, everyone on SmackDown is watered down. It's the same issue that I was talking about with Matt Riddle when he was announced by Kurt Angle. We'll see what happens, but I don't have any faith. My final report based on the thumbnail. Wrestle News actually reported that Adam Cole's WWE contract is up in the summer. This could see him out of WWE by August or September if he doesn't resign. And I quote, NXT champion Adam Cole's contract is set to expire sometime this summer. I believe his deal is up in August or early September. End quote. Now, he could very well lose the NXT championship to the Velveteen Dream. If that's the case, it's definitely going to create some more speculation and it's definitely going to create some more buzz adding to this report. And to be quite honest with you, I would not put it past him to leave. He was at AEW's gathering not that long ago, I believe. He was with his girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, I believe, Britt Baker. I would not put it past Adam Cole to sign with All Elite Wrestling, considering that his girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, is there. I would not put it past him. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't blame him. Because if I was Adam Cole, I would have it in my mind that there's absolutely no way that he is going anywhere on the main roster in the hands of Vince McMahon. Nowhere. The only thing that I am worried about is what's going to happen to Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. Are they going to continue the Undisputed Era shtick? Are they going to have Roderick Strong turn babyface? Are they going to have Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly as a tag team separately, Red Dragon? I don't necessarily know what's going to happen there. This is merely a report. We don't know whether he's re-signed. We don't know whether he's going to re-sign. I don't know what to expect. I can only hope that if he does resign, then I can only hope that Triple H is going to do anything in his power possible to make sure that Adam Cole is treated right when he goes up. I can definitely see the Undisputed Era going to SmackDown. Again, no one wants to go to SmackDown, but again, they need a shot of adrenaline in the arm. I can see the Undisputed Era going to SmackDown, possibly after SummerSlam, if he does resign. I don't know if he's resigning or not. There's a lot of speculation going around. It's hard to really process it all because there's a lot of moving elements. And I understand that Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, they'd probably be buried just like everyone else on Raw or SmackDown. They'd probably be buried like everyone else on Raw and SmackDown. Adam Cole, realistically, he's done it all. He's done it all in NXT. I don't even think he even wants to go up to the main roster. I think he's in the same boat as Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know. I do not know what's going to happen. I do not know. We'll have to wait and find out. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone for sticking by me. Thank you to everyone for watching. Please check out all the links in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the bell for all notifications. I will be sure to see you guys next week, next Thursday, for the rundown for NXT TakeOver in Your House with Earl Cole. And of course, in 2 weeks, we got the rundown for Backlash with Jay Leto. No Lightning Flash update next week. No Lightning Flash update next week. I will be down the shore at Long Beach Island, relaxing with my family for my sister's graduation. Big congrats to her. Happy early birthday to JB Thunder, like I said in the beginning of the show. Thank you again. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have an awesome weekend.